Hi gang, how you doing? Welcome to Friendship Shaving. As always, it's good to be here. Thanks for tuning in. Now I've got another slant razor to use this week. I have the Razorock German 37 slant bar razor. I used this on Monday with a brand new blade. So this will be its second use of the blade, and I just want to talk about the blade for a little while before we get started, because I've been using the Dorco ST301 blades. Now last week I kept nicking myself with these under the nose and places like that, so when I put a new blade in on Monday I noticed the same thing was happening, and initially I thought that these areas of the blades were just very thin and sharp on the edges, but I'm not sure you'll be able to see. Perhaps you can you see there's a little spur, a little snag on the corners there. Now I don't know if you know, but razor blades are made in one long strip, and then at the end, when they're all sharp and ready, they are chopped up into individual blades. So this has happened on two of the blades, and those little spurs are really sharp. Got me on my lip, my nose, just under the back here, got me in a few places. So it's rather a shame, because they're quite a nice razor blade to shave with, but that's poor quality control, so I won't be using these again after this little series on slant razors. I shall continue to use them for the moment, but once the series is done, so are those Dorco blades. I think that's really poor. Now I'm going to be using another Wickham's soap today. I'm going to be using a fabulous Club Cola, which I've got here, and I'm going to be reaching over. Do you know what? I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to use this lovely deluxe brush that I have today. So I'll just pop that in a drop of water while I tell you a little bit about the Razorock 37. Now the finish on this is quite good for a budget razor. It is different from the Maggard I used last week, which is coated, but this is a chromium plated zinc alloy razor. Now please bear in mind, these razors have all been loaned to me, so when I'm talking about the finish, they are second-hand razors. Now it's difficult to see the finish on this because it is so shining, but it is quite well finished. The only place that it really shows up, there's a little bit of a deficiency in the finish, is, and I don't think you can see, but it's around those holes. But apart from that, it's quite a nicely finished razor. I'm going to pop the blade in here. The fit isn't so good. There is movement in the blade, but when I tell you that the blade is the blade, what am I talking about? The razor head, cap, guard and handle comes in at $19.99, and for that you get a choice of 4 handles. They are all stainless steel, so you can get a bulldog handle, a barber pole handle, a bamboo handle, or a style of handle they call the radio knob handle. So for $20 you get a slant razor and a stainless steel handle, and I think that is terrific value for money. Now, I've just had a shower, so my skin really is all prepared. Let's get going with loading the brush up. Now, I was interested to find that the Razorock German 37 is styled on the Maggard 37C. It is a 3-piece razor, so obviously you can change the handle. If you buy one for $20 and you don't like the stainless steel handle, you can just swap the handle out nice and easy. The Maggard is a 2-piece razor, so you're stuck with that handle, I believe. This is a beautiful smelling soap. I wanted to stick with the same soap base that I used last week. I bought myself 2 new soaps from Kerry and Sarah at Phoenix and Bow, so I'm dying to try those out, but I wanted to also stick with the Wickham soap that I've been using. Now, excuse me, I'm just going to rinse my face a little bit. Just going to keep adding a drop of water to this for a little bit. And I can go a little bit more with the water. I haven't used this brush for quite a little while, and it's quite a nice one, synthetic knot. I was going to use my Rubber Set 203, which is a vintage that I've got. But when I last used it, the knot fell out of it, so I have to get a little bit of glue there and reglue the knot. There we are, that will do. We're good to go, I think. Got soap all over my shirt. Oh, some down there too. Now, I was expecting good things from this razor, and it's not because it's a slant razor. It was primarily to do with the shape of the head cap. You can see that the head cap is flattened, and I've used 2 razors before this one that have that similar sort of style. I've used the Hydra X6 and the Fine Accoutrements Marvel razor. They both had this flat cap with the angle of the head cap leading onto the guard at about 45 degree, at about a 45 degree angle. Now they turned out to be just a fantastic shave for me. So when I saw that this had the flat cap, I was hopeful that it was going to be a really nice shave. Now I'm just going to double check this, that the blade is aligned. As I say, the fit is not fantastic, but it's not too bad. And as I pointed out earlier, I will just take care of those end pieces there. Now I like this because it seems to me, with that angle there and the flat head, it's just about perfect to put that straight on your face. And for me, that's a really good shaving angle. I like this again on my Muller handle, seems to be just right, and much like the Maggard last week, the fulcrum is about the same place. There we go. That's the fulcrum point, so I'll hold it just slightly below that. You can see my finger fits nicely on the bottom of the handle. So this is a really nice combination for me. I have tried putting a stainless steel handle on here, but I find there's too much weight in the handle. For my liking anyway, you might prefer that, of course. I had lots of very interesting comments in response to last week's video, sorry. So thank you very much for that. It made a very interesting reading. And really I'm going to get the first pass done before I start talking about the razor. You can see there, look, perhaps that angle is just a really nice. I've found with those 3 razors that I've mentioned that shape obviously just really suits me. Now, as I did last week, I'll be concentrating on 4 areas. How much blade feel there is, how comfortable it is during the shave, how efficient the shave is and whether there is any soreness post-shave and how long that lasts for. So as I did last week, I will make considered comments and I will put them in the description for the video. In regard of blade feel, there isn't much. It is on the low end of the scale. I can feel where the blade is, but it doesn't intrude on the shave at all. And on the second and third pass, that blade feel reduces even more. There we are, that's the first pass, and it's a very nice first pass. I found that first pass to be really very comfortable, and we'll talk about that a little bit more as we go into the second pass. Now, I was reading through the pattern information that I included in last week's video, and I shall include it again in this week's video in the description. As I mentioned last week, a gentleman called Thomas Wilde was the first person to patent the slant bar razor. Now, if you read the patent information, he states that the purpose of twisting the blade is to strengthen the shaving edge of the blade and to assist in the cutting of a heavy beard. And I just wonder, it's more than likely that that gentleman had a really coarse growth and perhaps felt that the straight blade on a traditional safety razor didn't best suit him. I wonder what first possessed him to pick up a razor blade and twist it and have the idea to produce a razor. I find things like that quite fascinating. I wish we could find out more about it. Now, on the second pass, and I know I'm going with the grain again, as is my wont. But that blade feel is a little bit less. Going with the grain, and when I just went across the grain on my upper lip there, it just picks up again. And you can maybe hear there that the angle is just slightly different and it's picking up some growth there that I obviously missed the first time around. You know, this is a superbly weighted razor with this handle. Quite why anyone would put a stainless steel handle on this is beyond me personally, but each to their own, of course. I should say I'm finding this to be a nicer shave than the Maggard. Now the comfort on this razor I think is excellent, really comfortable razor. I think some of that is to do with that flat cap as I talked about earlier. Now I can feel that I'm really close, and really I've just done 2 passes with the grain apart from my top lip here, but I tell you what, it feels good already. Before I lather up again, let me just tell you about a little conversation I had with a gentleman called Warren, who noticed that I use my left hand to shave the left side of my face and my right hand on my right side, and that's primarily because of shaving with a straight razor. But something we worked out between us, and I'm grateful for Warren mentioning this. He wondered if the razor was as comfortable using it in my left hand as it is in my right hand. Warren is a left-handed gentleman. Now, the reason that's quite important is because if I pick up my Maggard 45 here and I put it on my face, and let's just say I was going to use the Gillette slide, and I'll exaggerate it. So I come down here like this, and when I've done on this side of my face, I change the razor around and do the Gillette slide on this side of my face, and the cutting angle of the blade would be the same and would be working in the same direction on each side of my face. With a slant razor, because of that slant, and whichever way you turn it, the slant goes the same way. If I put that on my face here, you might be able to see that the slant is running uphill from my ear to my nose. But as I go across here, the slant continues to run uphill, but now it is from my nose to my ear. So in effect, the direction of the blade is different from one side of the face to the other. Now, I haven't noticed any difference between the left side and the right side. I also have been looking at, and it seems less obvious on this one, but on the Maggard's razor there was a definite difference in blade gap between one end of the razor and the other. There is a difference here, but it's slightly less obvious. There seems to be a bigger blade gap at the bottom end of the slant. So the question that Warren has is, why would anyone design a razor in the way that this has been designed, where the aggression of the razor differs from one end of the slant to the other, or from one end of the blade to the other? I don't know is the answer to that. I have looked at this and I have wondered if there truly is a difference in blade gap or whether it is an optical illusion caused by the twist. But no, I do think, particularly on this side, I do think there is a definite difference in blade gap there, which is interesting, I thought. Now let me just add a drop of clean water from my bowl. There we are. There we are now for the final pass. I've got a spot down here, so I just want to go easy over that bit. I'm finding this shape head to be really very good on my neck. For me, there's no mucking about trying to get the correct shaving angle. I find with these heads, I just put it on and I'm there straight away. I think they're great. Let me just run that the other way there. You can hear that this is really working well. I've done quite well so far, avoiding those little snags on the edge of the razor blade. I hope I haven't spoken too soon by saying that. And there we are, there's my shave. Now I will do what I did last week, and I will mark the razor over 2 shaves, so that if you look back at last week's razor you'll be able to see the comparison. But I should tell you that I found this razor to be a better razor than the Maggards. It's about the same price point, but of course with this razor you get a handle, as I already said, so the price point is just great. For a budget razor it performs really well. I find it to be comfortable, and I've found it on my first shave to be really, really efficient. There was, on my first shave, just a little bit of residual soreness that lasted about 20 minutes, and it was only if I went like that on my face about an hour later that there was still some slight hint of a little bit of soreness there, but all in all it was nothing to be concerned with. I feel that if I use this razor regularly, and I would like to try it out with different blades, I think that soreness would just disappear as I got used to using the razor and I really got dialed into it. I've enjoyed this one. I've enjoyed it very much. Now I'm just going to use some Nivea, excuse me, cooling post-shave balm. And once I start spreading this on my face, I'll comment a little bit more about the efficiency of the razor. My first shave with it, it really couldn't be more efficient. I got BBS. Now I have slightly missed BBS today. Just there and just there. Higher up on my cheeks, I missed it a little bit there, that side, but not this side. But all in all, a super shave. Please bear in mind that when I'm talking about BBS and I'm feeling my skin, you know, I'm really being hypercritical. So there we are, that is the second shave in the series of Slant razors, and there will be another one to look forward to next week. Until then, you take care of yourselves. I hope you have a really good week, and all the very best now. Bye bye.